AccuWeather.com meteorologist Joe Bastardi, and the update of the Atlantic hurricane season. And of course, since February, we were on with a mega year. We had 16 to 18 at first. We kept that in May. Now that I've seen all the May data come in, including two very important aspects I looked at, something the measurement of the North Atlantic Oscillation and the Atlantic Multi-Decadal Oscillation. Basically, that's the overall atmospheric pattern in the Atlantic in May and the water temperatures in May. We can focus in a little bit better. And so the total storms have been up to 18 to 21. Now, this term landfall here is something I'm not comfortable with. I like to call it the impact from storms, where a storm does not have to hit land to deal tropical storm conditions. So if you understand that, and I want to make that clear, I've been trying to get this across to my folks here at AccuWeather, that's the impacts of storms. I'm expecting at least 8 storms to cause tropical storm conditions on the United States coastline. 5 or 6 of them, I think, will cause hurricane conditions, 2 or 3 major hurricane conditions. And the way that can work is one storm can get 2 land impact. For instance, if you have a storm go through Florida and then hit, it's 1 and 2. So we want to make sure that we're clear on that. I keep trying to stress that, and one of these days it will sink in as to what I mean. So the impact, I think at least 8 storms impact the United States coast. Actually, what we did here was we said at least 7 because there can be some double shots. All right, and that's the way, I mean, look at Donna, 1960, 1, 2, 3 landfalls. The total, 18 to 21. What I care about most, folks, I care about how many are west of that line, 55 degrees west. And when I score this thing up, this is the most important category I look at. This is second most, third most, fourth most is the storms west of 55. I want to know how many are in areas that we have to be concerned about. And then the total storms. Now, this total storm is a red herring to me, but people want to do it, and it is going to be, I believe, a big season. The reason what we said was going to happen, the Gulf was going to warm up, and all this in here, you see the warm, the cool, and then warm, and this is known as the Atlantic Ocean Tripole, leads to a congregation of stronger than normal upward motion in here. In the meantime, you see the La Nina that we forecasted to come on is coming on, the cold PDO beginning here too. So all this favors sinking air in the tropical areas in the Pacific overall, rising air in the Atlantic, hence the reason why the Atlantic should be so active. Now, the current situation is we have the remnants of this tropical wave in here, another wave, and you can see the intense convection moving south of the islands here. This is going to propagate west-northwest, and basically we're looking at a buildup of heat the next 3 to 5 days in the Western Caribbean. And as that happens, the pressure's lower, and it'll take a while, but eventually low pressure is going to form in here and try to come into the Gulf of Mexico. European, what I want to show you here is 72-hour European. Keep your eye on that line right there. That's the 1015 millibar line. If we go out here to 144 hours, we see that still in this area over here, all right? But then we continue to go out. Whoops, I didn't want to go there that fast. Well, actually, this is 144 hours. That was 96. We see the 1015 line is pulled back. Now, the normal wind in the tropics, folks, is out of the east over here. When you start getting southeast and south gradient, it causes the air to pile up in here. So this air is going up, up, up. And you see the European trying to develop a low pressure system just to the south of the western tip of Cuba, and then it gets quite enthusiastic with it. Now, before we start panicking here, this is a day 9 European forecast, which would be a major problem for the oil slick area, and it is in the package over here. Well, look what it had yesterday. It was down over here. What I do want to point out is the model is seeing a large area of low pressure in here. So this system could be further south and west. But the big point is that the pattern, you see this coming in here, the water temperatures are warm, the pattern favors development in this area of the world. Let me see if I can circle that. This area of the world later in the week, and then a general propagation northwestward into the Gulf of Mexico. So we're seeing the African wave train already starting to take shape over here. We've already had a couple. They've just gone far enough south that they try to develop off the Pacific coast, but this one is bound further north. And before we get all uptight about this going here or wherever, this general area in here should be watching for what goes on in here as the week progresses. In 1995, the first storm of the season developed Hurricane Allison out of an African wave that evolved in the Western Caribbean. And you saw the mega year that followed, 2005, the same kind of thing. I believe, this is Arlene in 2005 came up through here. So the climatology does favor this area, but with this big ridge in here, we may see whatever tries to develop come off to the west-northwest. You folks from the central Gulf Coast, I think all the way over to Tampico, should pay close attention to what is going to be happening here over the next few days. And of course, we will keep you updated here at AccuWeather.com. We like to get you out in front. In any case, the biggest news right now, since that hasn't developed, is my hurricane forecast. It continues very bullish on the upcoming season. And again, we'll just have to wait and see. It looks to me like the pot is boiling. It's not about to just blow open completely, but it may be bubbling over later this week and on into next week. And I'll certainly keep you updated here the best I can. You enjoy the weather.